The hallway smelled like wet sneakers and cheap body spray when the first blast of ice-cold water hit Mia square in the chest. She'd been walking with her head down, earbuds in, trying to memorize the quickest route from algebra to the cafeteria on her third day at Ridgewood High. The shock of it stole her breath. Her white hoodie clung to her skin, her backpack dripped like a broken faucet, and the laughter that followed was sharp enough to cut glass. At the center of the circle stood Jake Harlan, varsity jacket slung over one shoulder, garden hose still in hand, grinning like he'd invented cruelty. "Welcome to Ridgewood, new girl," he said, and the crowd roared. Mia didn't scream, she didn't cry. She just looked up, water streaming off her lashes, and met his eyes for one heartbeat too long. Something in that stare made Jake's smirk falter, but only for a second. By the time the bell rang, the moment was already legend. "Hey, if you're loving this rush of instant karma, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss the next showdown. It takes 2 seconds and keeps the stories coming." Mia Thompson had moved to Ridgewood from a military base in Seoul, where her dad had been stationed for 4 years. She was 16, quiet, and carried herself like someone who'd learned early that the world didn't hand out second chances. Back in Korea, her mom had enrolled her in Taekwondo to burn off the restlessness of constant goodbyes. What started as a way to stay busy turned into a black belt by age 14, earned in a dojang where the air tasted like sweat and discipline. She could break boards with her heel, disarm a knife with a twist of the wrist, but none of that showed in the way she hunched over her locker or ate lunch alone in the art room. Ridgewood didn't need to know. She just wanted to finish junior year, get into college, and leave the transient life behind. The hose incident should have been a blip. Instead, it became a declaration of war. Jake Harlan wasn't. Evil, not in the cartoon sense. He was 18, quarterback, and drowning in the pressure of a father who'd lettered in 3 sports and never let him forget it. Bullying was his currency. Quick, cheap, and it kept the hierarchy intact. The new girl was an easy mark, no friends yet, no reputation, no older sibling to retaliate. He'd pulled the prank with his crew after third period, using a maintenance hose they'd borrowed from the groundskeeper. The plan was simple: drench her, film it, post it, watch the likes roll in. What Jake didn't count on was the way Mia wrung out her hoodie in the bathroom sink without a single tear, or how she memorized the exact angle of his stance when he'd aimed the nozzle. Like she was calculating distance and leverage the way other kids calculated Instagram filters. The next morning, Mia walked into school dry, hair in a tight braid, wearing the same soaked hoodie now washed and sun-bleached. Jake expected hysterics. Instead, she nodded at him in the hallway, polite as a soldier saluting a superior officer. It unnerved him more than any comeback could have. That afternoon, his locker was filled with water balloons. Not popped, just sitting there, dozens of them, bobbing like jellyfish. A single note taped to the metal door read, "Return to sender." No signature. The prank war was on. Over the next 2 weeks, Ridgewood High became a chessboard. Jake slashed the tires on Mia's bike. She replaced his gym bag protein powder with powdered sugar, and the entire football team watched him foam at the mouth during wind sprints. He spread a rumor she'd been expelled from her last school for fighting. She hacked the morning announcements to play a clip of Jake singing karaoke to a Taylor Swift song he swore he hated. Each move escalated, precise and merciless. But Mia never touched him, not once. She didn't need to. The school buzzed with theories. Was she a military brat, a gang kid, a secret ninja? Jake's ego couldn't stand the mystery. He needed to break her publicly, decisively, so everyone would remember who ruled the halls. The homecoming pep rally was the perfect stage. The gym was packed, bleachers shaking, bass thumping, spirit banners flapping like war flags. Jake had planned it for days. His crew would corner Mia near the equipment room, dump a bucket of slime, green, sticky, impossible to wash out, while the entire school watched on the jumbotron. He'd even bribed the AV kid to zoom in. Mia showed up late, slipping through the side door in her gym clothes, hair still damp from practice. She'd joined the Taekwondo club after school, a tiny group that met in the wrestling room, and the instructor had recognized her belt the second she bowed. Word was spreading, but slowly. Jake didn't know yet. The trap sprung right after the cheer routine. Jake's best friend, Derek, grabbed Mia's arm and steered her toward the equipment cage. The crowd parted like they could smell blood. Phones were already up. Jake stood on a folding chair, bucket balanced on his shoulder, grinning like a king about to knight himself. "Any last words, new girl?" he called. Mia looked up at the jumbotron, her own face huge and unflinching. She smiled, small and sharp. "Yeah," she said, voice cutting through the music. "Don't blink. What happened next lasted 8 seconds and lived online forever." Jake tipped the bucket. Mia moved. Fluid, impossible, like water deciding to flow uphill. She sidestepped, caught the bucket mid-air with one hand, and pivoted. The slime arced in a perfect green parabola, splattering Jake from head to toe. The gym exploded. Before he could wipe his eyes, Mia was behind him. One chop to the back of his knee, a twist of his wrist, and suddenly Jake was on his back, staring at the rafters, her sneaker lightly pressed against his chest. Not hard, just enough to pin a butterfly. The crowd went dead silent. You could hear the slime dripping. Mia leaned down, voice low enough that only Jake and the front row could hear. "In Taekwondo we learn control. I could have broken your arm. I didn't. Remember that." Then she stepped off, bowed to the stunned principal storming the floor, and walked out. The jumbotron looped the takedown in slow motion for the rest of the rally. By midnight, the clip had 2 million views. #HoseGuy became Jake's permanent nickname. The fallout was brutal and beautiful. Jake's dad grounded him for a month, mortified that his son had been humiliated by a girl half his size. The football coach benched him for unsportsmanlike conduct. His crew scattered. Nobody wanted to be the next viral meme. But the real shift happened in the quieter moments. Jake showed up to the Taekwondo club the following Monday, head down, still smelling faintly of green dye. He didn't ask to join. He just stood in the doorway until Mia noticed. "You here to fight or to learn?" she asked. He swallowed. "Learn." She handed him a white belt. "Start with bowing. Respect comes before everything else." They never became friends, not really. But Jake stopped bullying. He started holding doors, picking up dropped books, apologizing when he bumped someone in the hall. The change was clumsy, earned through bruises and humility. Mia didn't gloat. She just kept training, kept earning her place. By spring, the Taekwondo club had 20 members, including half the cheer squad. Ridgewood High's culture didn't flip overnight, but it bent towards something fairer, something braver. At graduation, Jake found Mia by the trophy case. He held out a folded note. "I wrote this for my college essay," he said, "about the day I learned power isn't about size." She took it, read the first line. "The worst day of my life started with a hose and ended with a lesson I'll carry forever." She looked up, eyes soft for the first time. "You spelled my name right," she said. He laughed, a real one, and for a moment they were just two kids who'd survived high school. Years later, when Mia competed in the Nationals, black belt with a red stripe, her mom screaming from the stands, she spotted a familiar face in the crowd. Jake, taller now, holding a sign that read, "Return to Sender." He'd driven 6 hours to watch. After her gold medal match, he met her outside the arena. "Still have the hoodie?" he asked. She grinned, framed it. Evidence. They took a photo together. Champ and reformed bully, proof that people can change when someone refuses to fight dirty. The internet never forgot the pep rally. Every September, the clip resurfaces, captioned with new hashtags. #girlpower, #karma served cold, #blackbeltenergy. But the part that trends hardest is the quiet aftermath, the apologies, the white belt, the mutual respect. Because the real story wasn't the takedown. It was what came after, a girl who chose mercy over vengeance, and a boy who learned that real strength starts with putting the weapon down. So that's the legend of Mia Thompson, and the day she turned a hallway prank into a masterclass in grace under pressure. If this story lit a fire in you, smash that like button, drop a comment with your own high school revenge tale, and subscribe for more true-life epics that hit harder than a roundhouse kick. Quick question before you go. From which part of the country are you watching this video? Let me know down below. Can't wait to see where the Karma Squad's tuning in from.